Well, I think there's two parts to that. One is really getting the language technology out there into commercial processes, commercial workflows, especially content-oriented workflows, and that involves, working very closely with companies of all sizes, both large multinational companies and also SMEs that are trying to look for new niches of applying language technology. So I think that's one important part of it. The other important part is really starting to understand how we can develop marketplaces and sustainable ways of obtaining and using and reusing language resources. So at the moment, we put a lot of effort into that. We try and gather it between various public bodies and EU projects, but ultimately that relies on a lot of state involvement, EU involvement to get that going. What we need to find is the sweet spots where the vast amount of professional language judgments, such as translations, annotations, and also language judgments from users, from end users, crowdsourced translation workers, that can be harvested really efficiently on a regular, systematic basis in a way that we understand and can make decisions about its quality, and then recycle that into the actual use of language technologies. The problem we have again and again is, well, we could have worked in this area if we had the right training corpora. Often that training corpora is there, but it's not in the right format, or it's owned by it's not seen as something that needs to be made available for language resources. So there's a few points that we just need to hook together between the real world commercial workflows that are out there that involve language workers and could benefit from language technologies, and the systems that we actually use to train and integrate those language technology components. I think very much so, and I think the interesting thing is that the whole stage of standardization in the web through the W3C and the IETF is really providing us nearly all the tools we need now to do this. With ITS we can annotate content, but what we could also do with that is interlink with open data using RDF and the linked technologies from the linked open data community. So all the pieces are there. It's now finding, I think, quite a very thin layer that hooks all of those things together. And what that means is we can really start leveraging the technologies that are being implemented by the really big companies, like the browser vendors and companies who are developing enterprise content management systems. So those people are relying more and more on open standards because it's better for their interoperability. It makes their tooling simpler and more reliable. And we need to be able to build on top of that with the specific metadata that we need for language technology. So as I said, ITS from W3C is a start, and there's a few more things that needs to be done there. So there's a new EU coordination project called LEADER that will be looking at linguistic annotations for analytics of not only of text but of different types of media. We'll be looking very much at using W3C standards there and building on them. There's a project that I'll be coordinating called Fulcon, which will be working with some SME companies who are who already sell tools for the localization value chain, and looking at how we can make data from that tool available as linked open data. And then as well, this is a topic that we're looking at very closely in CNGL in the Irish context. I think what is important is, not necessarily one particular application, but is understanding the way that people who develop the modern applications do capture people's attention, the web applications, the smartphone apps, the sort of infrastructure that they need. So, they're very concerned about using open standards. They're very concerned about having good platforms for testing their resources, about getting it out very easily to users in large scale. So it's understanding the values of those sort of developers, because they're the innovators and they move typically much quicker than we're often able to move in collaborative EU projects. So we have to work and enable those guys to use the language technologies and the language resources that we're developing. So it's really getting the synergy between the very fast app innovators who are out there, and the resources and the technologies that they're making available. And again, standards come into play there. XML, HTML5, JSON. They're all things that a vast array of developers are playing about with on the web all the time. It doesn't have to be at a very deep, high quality industrial level. They're just tools that everybody can download and use very easily. We just need to make the language technology available, if you like, in that language, and make it available to those app innovators. I think so, yeah.
And watch what happens.
Yeah.
Should be cool.